Good evening. Chilling a little early tonight, and just not ready to sleep yet, but not really wanting to do anything either. Um, so moved to the bed, and I'm just kind of chilling out with a drink and some fruit snacks. I'm almost burnt out on Inquisition, but it's okay because I'm almost done with it. I'm probably just gonna finish the game, like work to finish the game now. Uh, the only area I haven't explored is DLC, and I don't know if I care right now. um, and I also got like a foundation of a colony started in RimWorld, but it was too late for like I didn't have the brain to really do the planning. Um, Mostly I just spent a good 2 or 3 hours um, reorganizing the mod list until there was no major errors. And the list of minor errors was very short, like less than 10. Um, then spent maybe 10 minutes just once I had a place picked and way people worked out and all that good stuff. Just got the basics down. And tomorrow I'll figure out what I'm gonna do with it all. Oh, I've got to remember to set an alarm so I'm awake for the Nintendo Direct tomorrow. I'm probably just gonna like begrudgingly wake up and then watch it on my phone in bed, and then go back to sleep. Or I don't know, maybe I'll be awake enough afterwards. I had fairly tempered expectations for E3 this year overall, like I talked about last night, just because of the state of this last year. Like, in the 3 or 4 months before E3 was scheduled last year, the pandemic hit, the world hard enough to shut it down. And we're only kind of just coming out the other side. Yeah, we've had a year since the last scheduled E3 to adjust and everything, but like the whole world's kind of just been slow to a crawl this past year, unless you were in the medical field. Unless you were in the medical field. you know. Um, so there's like I'm willing to give up to like a 7 month grace period. Like I'm not counting this last year as a full year. These last, what's it been since everything started? I mean, if we go back to when it like first started outbreaking in China, 20 or so months. I'm rounding up a bit, I think, but like these last 20 or so months have realistically, as far as I feel like, as far as the ability to function, have only counted for like maybe half that, or maybe even like 6 months. So like I said, I had fairly tempered expectations. E3 being back didn't necessarily mean, everybody had a whole bunch of stuff ready. We saw just like, for instance, I think had this last year been a regular year, I think Nintendo would have to announce either a Switch Pro or a successor to the Switch this year or bust. But like, given given all of the crap that's gone on this last year, I don't expect that to happen this year because of just, between hardware shortages in general, not to mention like not being able to physically get together to compare your dev kits or whatever. Like, I don't know what all goes into developing a console, but I imagine it was severely hampered over this last year. I mean, the PS5 was relatively finished when everything hit, and all they had to do was line up um, final builds and supply, and even that's like don't get me wrong, trying to get a console on launch day is a disaster as is, but between scalpers and the limited supply because of just factories in general that are physically making the hardware being at limited, if not being having limited, severely limited output, if not completely limited, like down to nothing because of conditions, just like we're not back up to full speed yet, and I don't think we will be for us another few months. Like we can, there's a symbolics of normalcy of emerging, but between, I mean, just focusing on the issues here in the states, between so many of the population um, not having faith in the vaccine because their orange leader won't tell them to, and that same percentage also being very unlikely to wear masks. So you combine that with a couple of the mutations we've had, like, despite there being light at the end of the tunnel and a decent amount of light at the end of the tunnel, for us responsible individuals, America's not going to be out of the woods for a while, thanks to the pride of one very sad man. But I'm not getting on that soapbox tonight. Um, but yeah, just looking forward to Nintendo tomorrow. I'm gonna stop before I ramble for 20 minutes about literally nothing again. So I'll catch you all tomorrow.